Hi, Jack Canfield here with another success resource. I'm sitting here today with Dr. Bob Neuman. I've been interviewing national treasures all day long. I
Yes,
believe you're
yes,
another one of those.
yes.
He's a former university dean at Marquette University, and in your professional life, this is amazing to think about it's possible, advised and counseled over 12,000 students.
Yes, when you consider the number of students each year that I talk to.
That's
yes,
amazing.
and multiply it times 30.
I'd say you know a
it
little
comes
about
up,
that.
Yes, I think I've talked to more college students than anyone on earth.
I believe it.
Yes.
I believe it. And you've written a book called College Smart.
Right.
And making sure kids are ready for college because so many of them are
Right.
not. Talk about why is that, just a little about the book and why is it so important?
Okay, the book is important because a lot of students aren't doing very well in college. And from the point of view of somebody in college, looking back at students in high school, I realized that what they should have as talents in college, they really need to develop those in high school. Okay, so I write this book and I say, you got to start early. You know, if you're really going to be successful in college, you got to start developing certain skills, certain strategies, certain talents in high school before you get to college. You see, because there's going to be this jump from high school to college. Everything is going to get harder. And if you don't have, for example, study skills like scheduling study time, okay? If you don't have a skill like setting a priority list so that education is on top of that list. You should have a skill about talking. Students have to talk in the classroom, talk with teachers, and so forth. So those are some of the few things that I think students need to understand that are required to be successful in college.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question because we talked off camera about some of the terrible statistics that are out there, which is why I think your work's so important. Talk about some of why this is so important, because I think we really are facing a national epidemic. I believe you believe that as well.
Yes.
And how you're helping move that to another level.
Okay, let's just imagine a student in high school getting ready for college. All right, parents are getting ready for college. They're thinking about college expenses and so forth. And in that planning stage, college, it's 4 years. That's what it usually is. Okay, a student goes off to college, not prepared, hasn't developed these study skills in high school, and they run into what I call the glass wall. They really don't know what hits them. Suddenly they're being told, well, you have to study 15, 20, 30 hours a week in order to pass these courses. Well, they've never experienced anything like that. They're told, you have to learn a lot more material, a lot faster than you did in high school. They just fall off an edge. And as a result, now they can get some pretty good grades so that they continue. Okay, so they move on from one semester to the next semester. Things almost always get worse. By the third semester, and that's the big semester here, that's the make it or break it semester for the students who are just on that borderline. By the third semester, they're out of energy. They really don't know what to do. They often leave that college, they go someplace else. Well, are they going to do better someplace else? Probably not, Somebody really needed to sit down with those students, even in college, and say, now listen here, as my book said, here are 12 strategies. Now let's go through them. Do you do this? Do you do that? Etc. And if you don't, let's begin. We have to learn how to do it. Because in the long run, what's going to happen if you're investing this money in college and you reach year 4 and you're still not qualified to graduate? Suddenly all this planning back here for your college, that great big expense. I mean, college is a big expense. Now, instead of spending this amount of money, now you're spending 25% more. Now you're spending 50% more. Across the country, the debt of students is something like $1 trillion. $1 trillion, it actually affects the national debt. Well, I don't know if I can do anything about those big figures, but I want to come down at the, let's call it the ground level here. I want to convey this message to students, to the parents, you see, to the schools and teachers, because they may be looking ahead to college, but they're really not looking ahead to what they need to do in college.
Right. I read a statistic recently, and you probably know more about it because I know you read 3 newspapers a day. You told me that the students, as the amount of student debt that they come out of college with, it gets bigger.
Yes.
The level of happiness goes down, the level of depression goes up. And so, having spent hundreds of thousands of dollars many times, they're so in debt and they're miserable.
Yes.
And they're not happy.
Yes.
And they're stuck for a long time with all this debt.
Sure.
And it's because often it's taken them 5 or 6 years to get through school.
Sure.
And it's really it's a sad thing. So if you are someone who's dealing with that, either as a student, as a parent, as a grandparent, an uncle, anyone in the family who really cares about this, and you want, because the impact on a family is huge if it doesn't work as well, I want to really encourage you to get the book, and I also want to encourage you to go to the website. So thank you very much. As I
Thank
said, I
you,
think
Jack.
what you're doing is
Okay.
really important. So thank you for
Wonderful.
joining me.
Yes, thank you.
And for the rest of you, stay tuned. We'll be back after this break.